Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Year 8, depending on when you are watching this. So this is week 1 of our after Easter home learning. So just before Easter, you were doing some work and research around different elements within performances, okay, that we need to know about. So we were looking at the context, like the historical, social, cultural context of a performance. We were looking at genre and performance style. And we were looking at some of the themes and things like that. Okay, so remember, the whole point of a drama piece or of a theatre piece is to communicate something to an audience. Okay, so it still can be entertaining, and we're using that as a platform to communicate a message, a thought, a feeling, or to persuade the audience or to inform them of something. Okay, so what we're going to do now, the work we did before the Easter holidays, we're now going to put into a unit of work on theatre design. So we're going to look at all the different elements, what those of you that go on to do GCSE, or you might skip GCSE and do A-level, or you might go and work in the theatre and not do the GCSE at all, they'll get called production elements, because they're the elements that go into a production. That's, the performance is that bit in the moment, the whole thing is the production. So we are going to, this week, we are going to look at the role of costume designer, okay, and we're going to look at costume. So I have written it on the board, I'll cover it up, okay. What is costume? So I want you to have a think. What is costume? Got it? Got what you think it is? Yeah? So it is. It's what an actor wears in a performance. Okay, well done, guys. So it's what an actor wears in a performance. So we need to think about the clothes they wear. If you go up and study drama at a higher level, so GCSE, we look at Frankenstein, A-level, and then if you go up to university, there will be some plays there where the actor doesn't wear an awful lot of clothing. That still comes under the design. However, for your age, we look at actors, we want them covered up. Okay, so we're looking at clothing. So it's everything they're wearing on their body, okay, and it also includes what I call m-m-h. M-m-h. Okay, so that is masks, makeup, hair. Okay, m-m-h. Masks, makeup, hair. That all comes under the role of the costume designer. Okay, so the costumes, they help create the world of the play. So they help to create the world of the play, and the costume designer in the production meetings, okay, which they will have with the director and the stage manager. So with the director, the stage manager will take the notes, but the director has the overall vision for the play. They have the overall vision for the performance, what they want, what themes they're wanting in there, and quite specific what they are wanting to communicate. So in the production meeting, usually the first production meeting, they will discuss with all the designers. They'll all be there collaborating and talking, and the director's normally saying, no, I don't like that, no, I don't like that, or that's interesting, or could we do this? And the costume designer goes away, does some research, and starts designing costumes and sourcing bits of costumes. So somewhere like the National Theatre, they've got a massive wardrobe, so they will go in and look at what they've got to start with, and they will start to research and source ideas specifically for that play or performance. Okay, so the costumes must support the actor. Okay, there's no point, it needs to go with the piece. There's no point having a costume where the actor can't move and they're in a musical doing a dance piece, or they're doing, like when we watched Robin Hood by Off Balance, their costume, they had quite a basic costume, just t-shirt and baggy trousers, but we could tell the characters they were through the actors, but the costume supported what they were doing. Okay, it was that kind of greeny colour which represented the Sherwood Forest, but it was clothing that the actors could move and get themselves into shapes. So the costumes must support the actors. Now the costumes communicate to the audience when and where the play is set. Okay, that's the historical context. Now you've looked at that already, Year 8. Okay, so where and when the play is set is the historical context. The other thing that the costumes tell us is bits about the character. They tell the audience things about the character that the character may not directly tell us, or may not tell us when we first meet the character. So it tells us this would be their social context, so says their age. Okay, we'll say what job they do, or if they're a school child, their relationship with other characters, and their position within society. Okay, have a think. What do we call that position in society? It begins with an S. Have a think. What's that? Someone call out? Absolutely right. Status. Okay, so position within society is their status. Okay, remember when we did Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night, okay, on the raked stage, quite often the character with the higher status, the higher position in society, would come in from the back. Okay, remember that's why it's called upstaging people. So an example of how it communicates is, sorry, the lighting's really rubbish. An example is William in Goodnight Mr. Tom. We did some evacuee stuff last year, and I know lots of you will have read or watched Goodnight Mr. Tom back when you were in primary school. So if we take William, okay, his costume, he's in little shorts, grey shorts above the knee, socks that come up just below the knee, and he's in shoes. Okay, they wouldn't have worn trainers. They'd have had daps, but specifically for if they were doing PE, they would have mainly wore shoes because they always looked presentable. No matter what their position in society, there would have been this element that they were smart for them to be presentable. He probably would have had a shirt and jumper on. Okay, and he probably would have had, well, he would have had with him, okay, it's where some of it crosses over, but he would have had a box, a gas mask box. Okay, so he'd have had a little gas mask box. That all says to us, when he walks on stage, oh, there's a boy, it's World War II. Okay, his jumper might be a bit stretched, have a couple of little holes in it. Okay, his shirt might be a little bit crumpled. That tells us that William comes from poor background. We know that it was just his mum at home, and we know his mum had lots of mental health issues, and quite often he would end up being neglected and having to look after himself. So the washing wouldn't have been done quite as much. So that tells us a bit about his background. Now, there's two types of costume. I want you to think about this. Very, very basic. Because we're year 8, year 9 will build on this towards the end of year 9. Now, I want you to think about the two types. You've got period costume, okay, which is set in the past. Okay, so our World War II, good night, Mr. Tom. Okay, set in the past. And modern, okay, so modern would be like Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. The characters there would wear more modern clothing because that's set now. And it could be in modern goes stylized. So if we take something like the musical Six, okay, kind of period costume because they've got their ruffs, but it is very much stylized. That would come under stylized. Okay, we can actually year 8. Actually, we will add in 3 modern. We will have stylized. Okay, remember sometimes stylized can be spelt with a Z. That's the American spelling. Okay, so they spell a lot of things with Z's. We put an S, so the British spelling is an S, but if you're hunting things up, be warned, you might see it with a Z, okay? That's not wrong, it's the American spelling. This is the British spelling. So, yeah, so actually I want you to look at the 3 basics. So you've got period, modern and stylized. So the musical Six, that is stylized. They've got the ruffs, okay, and they've got their costume which has that Elizabethan element about them, but the skirts are right up to their knees, and it's very, very much telling us that no, it's not actually set in Elizabethan times, even though not Elizabethan times when Henry VIII was around, because the Elizabethan times came after Henry VIII. Okay, and Six is about Henry VIII's wives. So, and they form a band. So we know it's a non-naturalistic play. So that's why, or musical. It's a musical, not well. It is a play, but it's a musical. That's the genre. So it's stylized. So there's no strict rules. Okay, there's no strict rules, and these will all overlap. Like the example I gave you was Six. At various points, and it's okay for you to overlap them. Now you're going to be using Sweeney Todd, so Sweeney Todd, the genre is song time, okay, so it comes under the musical umbrella, but it's not strictly a musical as in say Six or Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, or There's Something About Jamie. It's song time, which Into the Woods, if you've seen that, with my buddy James Corden. There's a film of that. That's also a song time. So it's got a particular tune that goes all the way through. And while there is some speaking, the majority is songs. There is one with Johnny Depp, but that I do believe is a 15 or an 18, which none of you are old enough to watch. When you get to that age, it's very, very good. I highly recommend it. But we can look at the other bits. Sweeney Todd is also a melodrama, so it's not just, there's a song time genre of it, there's also a melodrama version of it. And I remember year 8, we did some melodrama last year, so that's the Victorian, over the top, you've got a baddie, and it was done a bit later when Sweeney Todd was kind of the anti-hero. So what you need to do, you need to show with your costumes, okay, you need to annotate so you can mix it up, but you have to say why. So in your annotations, if someone's wearing a blue top, you have to say not just blue top, you have to say blue top because they are a sad character. This shows that Mrs. Lovett was sad because her pies weren't doing very well. Okay, so something like that. Now you need to show, you've got 2 elements you need to show in your costumes. You need to show the characters' social context, so their personality and their social context. You also need to show the historical setting. Now remember, you can do it stylized, okay, but there needs to be some element that shows us that it's Victorian, okay, because it's set in Victorian London, so there needs to be something about that costume that tells us that. Now, you can do as much or as little work on this as you want, okay. There will be, at the end of this unit of work, there will be a prize for the person that has put the most effort in. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to try and get somebody, Mr. John, I think, to help me out with this. So the ways you can submit work. So submit work to your drama teacher. Now, yes, I know it's me delivering this lesson to you, but I don't teach all of you in year 8. So submit it to your teacher. Now, the way you can do that is take a photo of your work and email it to them, okay, if you're able to do so. You can say you want to go a bit further and you wanted to do some research and present that in a mood board, you can do. So you can do that either through Google Slides and share that with your teacher, or you can do that on a PowerPoint and email it to your teacher, or you can also say you wanted to get a bit more crafting. You actually wanted to get make a mood board and stick pictures on and stick bits of fabric or things like that on. You absolutely can. Now, you don't have to. That is the challenge and the extension, but you can do. And if you do that, what I would say is take a picture of it, send it to your teacher to let them know, because remember, we can still issue wow cards electronically, and also you can then keep it, put it somewhere safe at home, and then when we come back into school, whenever you have drama, come give it to your teacher, okay? Now, 8KJ, that doesn't mean all of you give it to me, okay? If I teach you, I will have it. If I don't teach you, give it to your teacher. I know what you like. You'll try, all of you will try and offload your drama homework on me. So, looking at Sweeney Todd, it's really interesting. You can either go down the song time route or you can go down the melodrama route, okay? Have a look online. Remember, when you are researching and using online, always be safe, okay? Have fun with it. Don't stress out with it, okay? This is designed so, you know, this should be fun. I love the theatre stuff because it is fun. Be as creative as you like, and hope you're all staying safe, okay? And don't stress about it, all right? I don't want you stressing. See you all soon, hopefully. Okay, I am missing you all, and cheerio.